Sardines are small fish that live in large schools, often exploited for food and raw materials for the processing industry. Sardine fishing requires appropriate techniques and methods to achieve high efficiency while still protecting aquatic resources. Fishermen often use purse seine nets, a type of net specially designed to surround and gather fish quickly. Night is the ideal time to catch sardines, because they are attracted by the light from fishing boats. Fishermen arrange a high-power lighting system to lure the sardines to gather near the water surface. Then drop the purse seine net to cover the school of fish. Once the fish are surrounded, the net will be slowly pulled to gather the fish towards the boat. This entire process requires good coordination between the members on the boat. From orienting the light, observing the movement of the fish, to dropping and pulling the net. After being caught, sardines must be immediately stored in a cold storage to maintain their freshness before being brought ashore. In addition to purse seine, some places also use trawling or trapping methods. However, the most common is still purse seine combined with light. Sardine fishing is not only an important economic activity in many coastal areas but also reflects the close connection between people and the sea, with nature, and with the long-standing fishing tradition passed down from generation to generation. However, sardine fishing also poses many challenges, especially in the context of increasingly declining marine resources due to overexploitation and climate change. To ensure sustainable development, many localities and countries have applied strict regulations on seasons, catch volumes and mesh sizes to avoid catching juveniles or fish in the reproductive period. In addition, some modern fleets are also equipped with sonar systems, which help to accurately determine the location and size of sardine schools, thereby minimizing ineffective fishing and limiting the impact on other marine species. In some coastal areas, fishing communities have also formed cooperative groups. Sharing resources and experiences to protect traditional fishing areas. This is not only an effective economic method but also a solution to maintain long-term fishing, associated with environmental protection and biodiversity maintenance. Therefore, sardine fishing is not only a simple labor activity but also associated with the responsibility of natural resource management, flexibility in adapting to changes, and the strong community spirit of those who depend on the sea in addition. After being caught, sardines also undergo a strict pre-processing and preservation process to ensure quality before being distributed to the market. Depending on the purpose of use, sardines can be brought to processing plants to produce canned food, dried fish, or fish sauce. In large fishing vessels, cold storage or quick freezing systems are fully equipped to preserve fish while still offshore, helping to maintain maximum freshness and minimize loss after docking, for small vessels operating near the shore. Sardines are often transferred directly to the mainland to be sold fresh or dried using traditional methods. In particular, in many fishing villages, sardines are also considered the main ingredient to make specialty dishes with strong regional identity such as grilled sardines with salt and chili, braised sardines with pepper, or sardines wrapped in banana leaves. This further demonstrates the economic and cultural value of this small but nutritious fish. In the context of an increasingly expanding market, sardines not only serve domestic needs but are also exported to many countries, contributing to increasing fishermen's income and promoting the development of the fisheries industry. However, for the sardine fishing industry to survive long-term and develop sustainably, each person working in the profession needs to be clearly aware of protecting the marine environment, exploiting it reasonably and complying with regulations on marine conservation. It is the combination of traditional and modern fishing techniques, along with the awareness of preserving natural resources. That will be the key factor helping the sardine fishing industry continue to affirm its important role in the marine economy of our country. In addition, the sardine fishing industry also plays an essential role in maintaining the livelihoods of tens of thousands of coastal workers. From fishermen directly involved in fishing to those working in transportation, processing and trading, during the peak fishing season, the atmosphere at fishing ports becomes bustling with the sound of engines. The sound of people buying, selling, packing, and drying fish, creating a vivid, vibrant picture of the coastal countryside. For many families, sardines are not only the main source of income but also a part of the tradition and memories of the homeland. Attached from ancestors to descendants. In many localities, the fishing festival at the beginning of the fishing season is often solemnly held, expressing gratitude to the ocean and wishing for a favorable season and a good catch of fish. These spiritual values have made the fishing profession despite its hardship, always carry within it a sacred and profound beauty. However, the future of sardines will only be truly sustainable if there is close coordination between the people, the state and scientific organizations in the management and protection of aquatic resources. Monitoring programs, statistics of exploitation output, marine biology research and community education and propaganda need to be implemented more strongly. At the same time, the application of new technology in exploitation and preservation, and support for loans for fishermen to improve fishing equipment also need to be considered to improve production efficiency and minimize risks. Only then will the sardine fishing industry not only continue to feed generations of coastal residents but also contribute to building a modern fisheries industry, developing in harmony with nature and preserving the cultural identity of the Vietnamese people in the future. The sardine fishing industry will also face great opportunities thanks to the trend of consuming clean, safe and nutritious food in the world market. Sardines are considered a food source rich in omega-3, calcium, protein and essential vitamins, which are very beneficial for cardiovascular and brain health. Therefore, if exploited and processed according to international standards, Vietnamese sardines can completely become a strategic export product, contributing to increasing the added value of the seafood industry. This requires serious investment in the supply chain from catching, preserving to processing and quality control. Seafood processing enterprises need to closely cooperate with fishermen, at the same time apply food safety and hygiene standards and clear traceability to meet the requirements of demanding markets such as Europe, Japan, and the United States. Not only stopping at economic value, sardines are also a symbol of the connection between people and the ocean, a place that has nurtured many generations growing up from the salty taste of the waves. Therefore, preserving the sardine fishing profession is not only maintaining a livelihood but also preserving a part of the soul of Vietnamese marine culture. In modern life, where traditional occupations are gradually being overwhelmed by technology and industrialization, preserving and promoting the value of marine occupations such as sardine fishing is even more meaningful. It is a common responsibility of the whole community, from the people, local authorities to social organizations. Only when everyone joins hands to protect the marine environment and develop a sustainable marine economy will schools of sardines continue to swim in the clear blue water, and fishing boats can still sail out to sea, carrying hope, life and dreams nurtured by the vast ocean. Moreover, the sustainable development of sardine fishing also contributes significantly to the country's comprehensive marine economic development strategy. In the context of Vietnam aiming to become a strong maritime nation, rich from the sea, traditional occupations such as sardine fishing need to be given due attention and integrated into coastal development policies. Replanning fishing grounds, building modern fishing ports, supporting fishermen to access smart fishing technology and post-harvest preservation will help this traditional fishing industry not only survive but also compete in the international market. In addition, combining sardine fishing with community tourism, where visitors can experience the reality of going out to sea on a boat, participating in pulling nets, and learning about the sardine processing process, also opens up a new direction of development, both promoting the image of traditional fishing villages and creating additional income for local residents. However, to achieve these goals, determination and support from many sides are needed. People need to raise awareness about protecting aquatic resources, not overfishing, and not using fishing gear that is harmful to the marine environment. The government needs to have specific and transparent support policies for fishermen, especially in the context of increasingly erratic sea weather due to climate change. At the same time, scientists and conservation organizations need to continue researching the ecology of sardine, proposing solutions to balance exploitation and conservation. When all these factors come together, sardine fishing will not only be a short-term economic activity but will become a long-term development model, contributing positively to the prosperity of the country and the longevity of Vietnam's maritime culture. Ultimately, the most important thing for the sardine fishing industry to survive and develop sustainably is to nurture the spirit of love for the profession and attachment to the sea in each generation of fishermen. Although technology is increasingly modern and fishing equipment is increasingly advanced, it is the people, with experience, perseverance and love for the sea, who are the core factors that determine the success of a season. The tradition of attachment to the sardine fishing industry is not only expressed through fishing techniques or the way of handling fish after landing, but also through everyday stories, the teachings of our ancestors passed down by word of mouth at the port. Under the roofs of fishing villages, it is respect for nature, humility before the vast ocean, and the spirit of solidarity among people who live on the waves and wind. In a rapidly changing world, preserving and developing the sardine fishing industry is not only economically significant but also has profound humanistic values. It helps people maintain their connection with their roots, with the natural environment, and with each other. Although schools of sardines are small, they carry a big story about livelihoods, culture, development and conservation, if we know how to appreciate and invest in the right direction. Sardines will not only continue to be a sea gift that feeds tens of thousands of coastal people, but will also be a symbol of a green, modern and sustainable marine economy for the future. To achieve that vision, a comprehensive and long-term strategy is needed, in which the role of education and community communication is extremely important. Right from school, especially in coastal areas. Students need to have access to knowledge about marine resources, traditional fisheries such as sardine fishing, and awareness of protecting the marine ecological environment. Thereby, the younger generation will not only understand the source of life of their homeland but also know how to appreciate, preserve and develop it responsibly. At the same time, mass media programs, documentaries, sea culture festivals, or experiential tourism activities also need to be enhanced to spread the love of the sea and islands and the value of fishing to the community at home and abroad. In addition, it is necessary to pay attention to the factor of social justice in the development of the sardine industry, ensuring the rights of fishermen, especially small-scale workers who are often disadvantaged in the value chain. Building models of fishing teams and cooperatives not only helps them improve their production capacity but also creates conditions for access to capital, science and technology and stable consumption markets. When fishermen are properly protected and supported, they will feel secure in staying at sea, sticking with the profession for a long time, thereby creating a solid foundation for the development of the fisheries industry. Sardine fishing, although seemingly simple, has great significance for the economic, cultural and environmental life of many coastal areas. Each haul of sardines pulled up is not only the result of labor, but also a testament to the ingenuity, solidarity and resilience of humans in the face of nature. With the consensus of the whole society, timely support from policies and flexible adaptation of the people, it is certain that the sardine industry will continue to shine, not only on the vast ocean but also on the journey to conquer the values of sustainable development of the country in the future in the overall picture of Vietnam's marine economy. Sardine fishing can be seen as a small but extremely important link, contributing to shaping the identity of many coastal regions. Each locality has its own way of connecting with and developing this profession. Some places focus on modernizing fishing tools. Others preserve traditional methods as part of intangible cultural heritage, creating diversity and richness in the approach. Some fishing villages have begun to experiment with ecological fishing models, that is, only exploiting during the appropriate season, not using destructive fishing gear and committing to restoring the marine environment. Such models, if replicated, will not only help protect sardine resources but also create a distinct brand for local products, enhancing commercial value and international competitiveness. In addition, the intersection between tradition and modernity also opens up creative directions for the future. Young people who grew up in fishing villages have now begun to return to their old profession in new ways, using social networks to promote sardine products, opening specialty store chains, developing offshore experience tours or building a clean sardine brand that meets export standards. This innovation does not diminish the essence of the traditional profession. But on the contrary, contributes to affirming its position in the new era, when sardine is not just a crude fishing product but becomes a symbol of a green, sustainable and knowledgeable lifestyle. The fishing profession will also be viewed with greater respect and expectations. It can be said that the journey of sardine fishing is a long one, from the rustic oars of fishermen in the past to modern ships, from the bustling fish market in the early morning to international supermarkets. But wherever they are, sardines still retain their inherent value. They are a product of the ocean, a source of livelihood for many families, and a source of pride for coastal people. If properly protected and promoted, sardine fishing will not only be a beautiful past, but also a promising future on the journey to the sea of the Vietnamese people. Therefore, building a long-term strategic vision for sardine fishing is extremely necessary in the current context. That vision does not stop at effective fish exploitation. but must also be closely linked to marine ecological conservation, coastal community development, and climate change adaptation. Managers need to consider replanning fishing grounds, establishing seasonal fishing bans to restore sardines, and issuing policies to support fishermen in gradually transitioning to a responsible fishing model. At the same time, there needs to be a mechanism to encourage businesses to invest in the sardine value chain, from fishing, processing, packaging to brand promotion, to elevate traditional products into high-value commodities in the international market. It is impossible not to mention the role of the international community and marine conservation organizations in providing technical and financial support and sharing sustainable development models. Vietnam's proactive cooperation and learning from the experiences of countries with developed fisheries such as Japan, Norway and Iceland will open up many opportunities to improve the efficiency of sardine fishing, while ensuring that the protection of the marine environment is not neglected. In the current trend of green development and circular economy, sardines, with their large output, fast regeneration ability and high nutritional value, can completely become a fulcrum for the regenerative fishing industry if properly oriented. Overall, sardines, though small, are carrying on a great journey, a journey connecting people with the sea, connecting tradition with modernity, and opening up sustainable development opportunities for coastal areas. Protecting and developing the sardine fishing industry is not only about preserving a livelihood, but also about preserving a part of the national soul, the continuation of many generations of Vietnamese people living in harmony with the ocean. It is the responsibility of not only one person, but of an entire nation if we want to move towards a prosperous future from the ocean. Thus, from a simple livelihood of coastal fishermen, sardine fishing is gradually becoming an indispensable part of the country's sustainable marine economic development strategy. Each sardine pulled from the seabed is not only a food unit, but also the crystallization of labor, knowledge, culture and harmony between humans and nature. The presence of sardine in family meals, on offshore ships, in processing facilities and even in the international market is a living proof of the increasingly affirmed value of this small fish. The future of sardine fishing will depend largely on today's awareness and actions. If every citizen, every manager, every business and every organization joins hands to act, from protecting the marine environment